How's it going, everyone, and welcome to my Dark Souls mob run. On this run, we will cosplay as various mobs and add an extra challenge with each run to make it a bit more interesting. The first step of the run was deciding in which order I will strategically choose the mobs to get to New Game 7. Knowing the game would get harder with each new game cycle, it would be best to choose the weakest choices first. This led me to start with the Hollow, as their gear is really nothing to brag about. From there, the Dark Wraith made the most sense because of their weapon and shield are very poor options, strategically speaking. That led us to the Baronike next, as the rest of our options were going to be heavy weapons, and from an aesthetic standpoint, they're not that flashy. The Silver Knight is the best option after this, due to their lighter heavy armor and lighter weapon choices. Then we can wrap up with the Stone Knight, followed by the Giant Armor, and ending with the epic conclusion of a Black Knight New Game 7 run. Heading into the run, we choose the Bandit because he starts with the Battle Axe, which is a fantastic starting weapon for the long road ahead of us. The Hollow run had an added challenge of being hollow the entire run, which meant no NPC summons or kindling bonfires. This run was a bit of a chore as we had a lot of gear to farm, not just for this run but for all the future runs, and we made sure to get all of our gear max enchanted before ending the run so that the next runs would be easier. I found the Hollow to be an exciting and versatile pick with a fantastic toolkit to solve any problem. However, the poise on this build was garbage, so we kept the Wolf Ring on basically for the entire run. No bosses gave us any challenges on this run. Our armor was great, our damage was great, and the entire run felt like a fun vacation with a little bit of homework to do on the way. I stumbled into the Dark Wraith run, though, like a wolf steps into a trap. As I considered what challenge would be more appropriate to the Dark Wraith, I came up with the idea that lore-wise they should have nothing to do with the First Flame. That turned into a no bonfire, no Estus run, and I almost added no Homeward Bones either, as those are tied to the First Flame as well, but I gave myself a little bit of a break there and ignored that. The toolkit of the Wraith isn't great. The sword moveset is weird, and the shield is only an 80% reduction, and it's not very satisfactory to use. It just didn't feel right. I gave myself the added challenge of draining and killing all human NPCs I came across. Killing the Four Kings first was my stylistic choice, but I did need to actually go kill Sif first, so I killed him, and then I headed over to the Four Kings. We dropped them, and then I joined the Dark Wraiths. The biggest challenge of this run was Ornstein and Smo, because losing would mean that I have to run from Firelink, through Sens, through Honor Londo, but the shortcut cage key and opening the palace doors make it where I don't have to do all of Sens or worry about the Honor Londo archers on every run. But it's only New Game 2, and our kit is good enough to survive this. We drop Ornstein and punish Smo. Fighting Nito seems like it would be a concern, because dying to him would mean running from Firelink to the Catacombs, through the Tomb of Giants, but Nito is very easy, and he's not hard on New Game 2, so this wasn't really a challenge. The Bed of Chaos, though, was a huge concern, because dying here would mean running from Firelink, through the Blighttown shortcut, through the Demon Ruins, through Lost Izalith. Luckily, we don't die on the bed, and we are happy. I'm glad I had about, 12 games of practice before this one. As a Servant of the Abyss, killing Artorias felt like the best final boss. Life, just like a Dark Souls challenge run, can get tough. Like dying on a run back to grab your souls, we face setbacks in life that make us question if we can even continue to play. Sometimes we might need to drop a summon sign and ask for help on a boss. That's why I work with side-by-side counseling. If you're struggling with your challenge run, check out the link in the description to schedule a free 15-minute consultation with me. I've gone through job loss, sick kids, funerals of loved ones, divorce, church hurt, and problematic childhood memories. And while I'm not here to say, let me solo her, as a counselor, I remind people that it's dangerous to go alone. Don't you dare go hollow. Let's get back to the run. The Baronike run felt concerning because I was afraid it would be too close to my Black Iron Tarkus run. However, I made this run all about the lore of Night King Rendell and the mystery regarding his knights. There's not much to say here. This was a fun little lore video I got to film, and we added the challenge that I wasn't allowed to kill Baldur or Baronike knights, but this was a simple run to complete, and even on New Game 3, our gear was just way too solid. After this, I really had fun playing the Silver Knight. The Dragon Slayer bow is just pure pleasure to use, and I allowed myself to cosplay as Ornstein and Artorias while fighting through certain areas. I added the challenge of completing Sen's Fortress 5 times because it is the training ground for the Silver Knights, but the highlight of this run was definitely fighting Manus, dressed up as Artorias, with Sif by my side. That has to be my #1 favorite Dark Souls moment ever. I almost could have cried. Now we get into the hard spot of the run. Not because our gear is lacking or because the new game cycles are getting too hard, but because I had a few very bad ideas. Within a second of playing the Stone Knight, the thought immediately dawned on me. Why not play the entire game as if under the spell a Tranquil Walk of Peace? That's the spell that their sword casts if you do a heavy attack while two-handed. This meant I had played the entire game on max equipment load. But I will have to say, it was probably the most satisfying video I ever recorded, and it really helped me slow down and just appreciate the game. On this run, there were only 4 bosses that mattered, and they were Sen's Fortress, the Orlando Archers, the Bed of Chaos, and the Crystal Cave Golden Golem on the walkway. Sen's Fortress required me to learn a lot of new tricks about movement. The Orlando Archers taught me new tricks about logging off and logging on and where your spawn location is and NPC behaviors. And the Crystal Cave Golem was really just annoying, but the Bed of Chaos taught me just how viable it is to walk from one arm to the other with the Bed of Chaos. It definitely added new tools to my tool belt for future runs regarding the Bed of Chaos. After this, I went into New Game 6 with the Giants loadout, and even on New Game 6, I was afraid it would be too easy. So after some brainstorming, we decided to do a Cursed Calamity run, which means I would have to essentially go hitless on some bosses. I also cannot summon NPCs to help with bosses because I'm cursed. The hardest fight of the run was definitely Ornstein and Smo. I had to essentially do this fight hitless, and I'm worried about the damage drop-off from my lightning halberd versus their lightning resistance, but we were able to make it through that fight fine enough. The unexpected challenge was the 4 Kings, because if they grabbed me, it was an instant death. There's only one fight where they grabbed me right as I was about to win, which was so frustrating, but we won the dice roll on the next fight, RNG blessed us, and we took them out easy enough. Our last run was with the Black Knight, and I added the challenge of removing the heads-up display, and it was a very fun way to play the game with a cool aesthetic. But the Black Knight gear still made this run way too easy, even on New Game 7. Because it was New Game 7, my stats were also through the roof. My health was about 70, and the Black Knight halberd turns out to be easy mode even on the hardest difficulty. The final run was really just a fun celebration to end this challenge, and I have to say the journey was really worth every second, but I don't think I could call anything a challenge run except for the Dark Wraith run, the Stone Knight run, and the Cursed Giant portions. I had a fun time planning out which mob I would choose for each new game cycle, and it was a great excuse to use armor and weapons I've never touched before. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me, and I'm excited to dream up a new challenge. In fact, I've already got something pretty terrible in mind, which is going to take a little setup, and I'm not looking forward to it. But if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss out on future content, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.